what are you doing? Ceramic slam on the window, on the windshield?
You know how I like to experiment with different surfaces and see what this stuff can do. And I gotta tell you, the other day, I put some on my wife's windshield and she asked the same question. What are you doing? But when she got caught in that rainstorm we had last weekend,
She did water like crazy.
oh, just beat it right off of there and didn't even have to use the windshield wiper. So, yeah, so she didn't ask anymore.
Well, things are looking pretty good for $3,900.
Yeah, that
See
paint,
reflection pretty well.
paint does not look like $3,900, and yes, you're looking good. However, I think a couple of things we got to cover first is I am loving this ceramic slam, and I can't wait to show everybody how this car looks.
Let's give some of it away.
You want it?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do 10 bottles.
All right, let's do 10. No, let's go 12. For the next 12 people that comment at the bottom of the screen, we're going to send you a free bottle of ceramic slam so you can watch how it transforms paint and protects it for months. It really is just
Best
I really-
DIY ceramic out on the market.
Yeah, I enjoyed using it. It was really good. So time is short though. So why don't we make the interior now start to look like the exterior.
Yeah, let's do.
And go work a little bit of your magic.
Yeah, let's do the interior. It definitely needs to reflect the exterior. So
You got your work cut out for you.
yeah,
Right?
it's rough. So.
Have fun.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, welcome. We've got the exterior of the car looking great, and we're gonna work our way into the interior, and that's where I come in. So, you know, looking at a car and exterior is something that you can see from afar and may look great, but really for a car to get that value that we're looking for, 20 to 30%, we're gonna wanna go in and make sure that the interior is spotless. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're gonna go through vacuum, take up all the loose dirt. We're gonna jump in with some of our Hyper Cleanse, which is our all-purpose cleaner. No solvents in there, so it's not gonna dry out any of the leather. It's not gonna dry out any of the dash or anything like that. And we'll be able to really get into the crevices with an extractor. We've got a steamer that we're gonna be using. And of course our handy dandy drill brush. So we'll go through, we're gonna do all the carpets, we're gonna do the seats, we're gonna do the dash, but we're really gonna try to bring back this car to, you know, factory standard so that, you know, you get in the car and it's something that really stands out for you. So let's get started. So the first step of any good interior detail is going to be vacuuming and getting everything up that was left behind from the previous owner. And let's be honest with this 350, it is nasty. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna start with the detailer's best friend, the shop vac. We're gonna go through and we're gonna pull up all the loose dirt that we need to so that we can really get in the crevices with our Hyper Cleanse. So let's get started. After 3 dumps of the shop vac, and 45 minutes later, there was cat hair everywhere. Luckily, we were able to get most of it out, and we're gonna work our way over to the extractor at this juncture. Now, as you can see, some of the carpets, they've got stains all over it. It definitely needs a cleaning. So let's get into that and you know, see what we can do with it. Now, the thing is with an extractor is you wanna let the extractor do the work here. And what we've done is we've actually taken some Hyper Cleanse and mixed it in with the extraction fluid, the water. So as you go through, you'll see how it works here. It's gonna give you a little bit of bubbles, and you'll just go back over it, extracting all the dirt and all the mess that's in the carpets here. So, after the extraction, huge difference. That Hyper Cleanse, just, I can't believe it every time I use it with the extractor. I mix it into the water and wow, you can see a huge difference between the two. If I show you the water here, which I spilled half of it all over our shop floor, but you can see how dirty and gross and grungy it is. Traditionally, we would actually go in and buy new mats for a car, but we decided to use our budget elsewhere on the 350. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that Hyper Cleanse, we're going to go through, we're going to Hyper Cleanse the crap out of it, and we'll use our interior detailer to start bringing the interior back to factory standard. So let's get started. Okay, so after we've cleaned the carpets and scrubbed out the floor mats, what we're going to do now is we're going to take some of our handy dandy Hyper Cleanse. Now traditionally I would use a microfiber towel for this, but I do want to show you guys how dirty these seats are. And we're going to be using a horsehair brush. Now, as you spray your Hyper Cleanse, you can use it pretty liberally. It's an all-purpose cleaner, no solvent, so it's going to be safe for your leather. And what we're going to do here is, because of how soft the horsehair brush is, you can actually get pretty aggressive with it. Check out all that gunk. That's what you're sitting in as you're driving the car, you know, as a passenger or as a driver. So it's pretty interesting to see how much it's gonna pull up. Now, normally we would actually go through and condition the seats, but Bill's gonna come through and show you a couple tricks to really bring the seats back to factory standard. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you, we're going to use Hyper Cleanse, we're going to use a detail brush, and we're really going to get into the nooks and crannies of each part of the car here, and really get started on the actual dash, the steering wheel, and you know, remove all this gunk that's in the cup holder area. And yeah, so let's do it. Let's get started. One of the dirtiest parts in your car, surprisingly, is the steering column and the steering wheel. Now, we like to just spray a little bit. We like to be pretty liberal with it.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
With our Hyper Cleanse, and you can take a horsehair brush, really scrub it. You can even use a detailing brush, but when I pull this off, I wish I had that white rag because I'd show you how dirty the thing is. Oh, surprise, here it is. So let's just go in here a little bit and show you what your hands are hanging out on whenever you're driving your car. And this is actually one of the biggest and dirtiest parts of a car. And you can see how much we're getting off of there. So, you know, what you can do too here is I like to spray a little bit into the rag or the cloth and get into it. I'm only using a white one so you can actually see. I'm gonna switch back to a microfiber because we don't wanna scratch anything. I'm gonna spray into the microfiber and then really get into it. So we just finished cleaning the interior with Hyper Cleanse and it looks amazing. The next step for us is to actually take our interior detailer, and we've been formulating this now for a few months, and we're this close to getting it to where it needs to be. You know, the whole idea behind our interior detailer is to enhance and protect, and I think we're getting very close. So let's get started. Now I've switched out the microfiber towel because we don't want to use the same microfiber towel that we use with Hyper Cleanse or cleaner to use for the detailer. So we're gonna spray some on the microfiber. It's a clean microfiber, and we're just gonna start working it into the dash so you can see exactly what it's doing. Now in the last episode, Bill and I had a discussion on sheen versus shine and what we like, and this formula is a little less shine, a little more sheen. So based off of some of the feedback that we got from our YouTubers. And that looks great.
So many times when we have older cars like this, we end up with scuffs in the entry point of the seat. We try to figure out the best ways to eliminate things like this because they're just unsightly. Now, we're not recommending you go do this on your $60,000 Porsche, However, when we have a car like this, where just the little touches make a huge difference, here's a little trick that we like to do. We'll take shoe polish basically and come through and begin to apply it in an even stroke across the seat. And when we're done, you'll end up seeing, I'll make a little mess here, but we'll get it right. This will completely blend in with the black when we're done and it dries, and we won't have any of these cracks or marks going on. It's really easy to control. And when we're done, we're gonna blend it with the rest of the seat, and you're not even gonna be able to tell that we came in here in the first place. But this is just a quick little, let's call it a hack, because that's really what it is. But when we're done, we're not gonna have any of these unsightly markings on the seats. Now, if we point the camera down here, you can see where some of the dyes had lifted off and where some of these pants have taken it and discolored the seats. But if we go through and we do the entire panel along the bottom, it's quick and easy. It will not come off. It lasts forever. I mean, this stuff is remarkable. But when we're done and it dries, all these brown marks across here are going to be gone. And that's one of the secrets for older cars like this that we like to do to bring the seats back to life. And when I'm done, what we're going to do is buff it out, and then we're going to put a little conditioner on it. And once we condition it, it's going to really blend the coloration back. Now, naturally, this is only going to work for black seats, but black is really what shows the problems the worst. So we're going to go through here and get a good even coat. Now I'm going to let this dry and come back and show you what this seat looks like when we're done, and you're not going to recognize it. And that's one of our tips on how to take out discolored leather. So we've given our seats a couple of minutes to dry here, and for anyone who is doubting what a difference this can make for a couple of bucks, take a look at the seat now. We'll pan into some before and afters, but we have a little more shine on here than I would normally like, but you can see how all the dyes have filled in where there were scuff marks, entry marks. And when we're done, we're going to condition this and lower the luster a little bit so it looks more like a factory leather finish. But when we're done, this seat is going to look like brand new. So when bringing a car back to life, it's the little details that really make the difference. And this is one of my favorite products. It's called Trim Serum, and your plastic is so susceptible to UV rays and all the elements. They just start to fade and dry out after a while. But with a little bit of this product, we can come in and simply run across it once and then dry it off. It will not dry greasy or oily. It'll protect all your plastic from the UV rays, and it will last for weeks and weeks.
All right, so there's another car off the ledger.
Yeah.
And
We got rid of it.
yeah, we really
So-
did. And I gotta tell you quickly, as we went through some of the footage, I wasn't sure if the show is really staying on track or not from what we originally discussed.
Oh, are you referencing the infomercial that we just did?
Well, that was the idea, is really quickly, is we didn't want it to be an infomercial. We want it to be how we develop our products, how we learn from the cars that we use, how we have fun with these cars, don't spend much money on them, and then in turn, teach people techniques and so forth on what they can do. I think maybe this episode, we did plug products more than we had originally planned. We didn't really introduce new products that were in development, but we weren't there yet.
I must have mentioned HyperCleanse like 15 times, but
Yeah.
it's a great all-purpose cleaner.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to try to get back for the next episode where we talk about the development a little bit more, but this was fine because I think the car was a win. And let's talk about the car real quick.
Well, I think that you forgot to mention giveaways too.
Oh yeah.
We want to give away product to our peeps.
Yeah, and we want them to be part of that development process,
Right.
telling us, was it a win or a loss on the product formula and what they'd like to see happen.
Well, let's talk about that here at the end, but what do you think about the car? The exterior, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I love the car. And like we talked about, this is the ultimate blind date. You don't know what you're getting until you get there.
Flew out to Denver for this one, got there, and it was a surprise.
And
for sure.
I think in the first part of the show, we were a little more optimistic about the car than its condition than once we did a deeper dive.
Yeah.
The car needed some love.
Needed some love hard.
Yeah. So if we get to the exterior, what I did was the color correction. There was a million rock chips on the front bumper. And once again, this show is about taking a $3,000 to $5,000 car and making it beautiful, not going $3,000 to $5,000 car and going to Pebble Beach. Right. So we take some shortcuts here and there, and we're gonna get basic for some of those, but we do have a budget. So after we did the color correction, we went around and we did the ceramic slam.
Which looked great.
Yeah, black paint is tough.
Yeah,
but
it
we
can
really
be your best friend or your worst enemy, and I think, honestly, ended up being a pretty good friend of ours on this one.
Oh yeah,
So,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
The paint looked like $1 million. We'll show the gloss meter later, and
when we do the walkthrough.
yeah, we did a good jump on that. So after that, I went through and grabbed the wheels. We went from 1980s silver to a little more updated gunmetal, which I thought looked fantastic.
Looked
and we
great.
matched the door handles to it as well.
Kind of brought it up to snuff here. So.
Yeah. So you go through the interior now, and then let's recap the budget and see where we are.
Well, there must have been a cat living in that car for probably a year because there was so much cat hair. The shop vac at the end, it was smoking, but we ended up getting all of it out, and I went through, vacuumed it, used the extractor, the hyper cleanse obviously, but the thing that really got me excited was the interior detailer, because I think we discussed in the last episode, which you can watch here, we discussed in the last episode the interior detailer, and we discussed on whether there was too much shine in that formula, and I think we nailed it here with this formula.
Yeah, definitely so. And we gave some of that away in the last episode, so we've gotten good feedback there, and I think we're on the right track. But I think you're missing something here.
Okay, you're not going to get an apology, but I thought that the shoe polish was a little bit hacky when we brought it in to do shoe polish on the seats, but I was wrong. I will admit I was wrong. It looked good at the end of the day. So.
Well, we discussed this and argued it throughout the office because we knew we would get some lambasting kind of on the comments. But this show is really about our history as well. And when we were young and I was 16 years old and trying to figure out how to bring cars out. Oh yeah, sorry. Trying to figure out how to bring these cars back, but we didn't have any money. Yeah. That was the way we kind of took care of it. And back then, 90% of interiors were black. And you got to admit though, it looked great and it cost us $2, and it's a $3,000 car, which is now $8,000.
$8,000 car, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you wouldn't do it on your $70,000 car,
no,
right?
No, and people are gonna go that, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
So let's go back through the budget real quick.
Okay.
Okay, we paid $3,800 for the car. Fantastic deal. Yeah, it was fun to find that car. And then what we did is we spent $119 on a new shift knob. Far more expensive than I would have thought it was gonna be, but we had to buy a new convertible top because, man.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Every time you got laughed at on the road, I would chuckle. People would see the duct tape flapping in the wind.
People weren't laughing though when I had the top down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. Whatever. Okay. And then we went through and we spent $35 on a new door handle. And then we spent $32 on body shop grade paint to do the wheels, which was a big turnaround. Definitely worth it. So we went slightly over. We were in the 600s.
But with the amount of money that we made on it,
yeah.
It was an appreciation, not a depreciation.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we
How
wanted.
often does that happen in the world of cars? You can drive them, love them, and make money on them. And we sold a $3,800 car for $7,900.
Yeah.
And
which the cars that we're buying were $55,000, $60,000, $70,000 when they first came out.
Yeah, it might be an embellishment on the Z, but
on the Z.
Yeah, but
they were
close.
So, to have them appreciate at the end of their lives,
yes.
not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, not a bad thing. So there's where we go. And I think the fun thing is going through and seeing the car when it's done and deciding was $500 well spent.
Yeah.
And I think the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, I think it was.
So
The other thing too that we want to do, let's get back to the giveaway because we'd love to give away a couple bottles, I think, for this episode. Steve's gonna kill me, our accountant.
Yeah, he hates this part. However, we did say we were going to give away 12 bottles of Ceramic Slam.
Yeah, but I do think that we should give away some trim serum because
we did use it.
Yeah, we did use it, and it's one of our flagship best products, I think. So,
And he's got to understand. We learn a ton by letting people use that stuff, and they love to give us good feedback, and they always do. And so, yeah, we're going to give away those based on the comments in the bottom. You put them in the time machine or the spinner or whatever.
Throw them in a randomizer and pull out a couple comments, even if they're negative. Well,
what?
If they're positive comments, you'll probably more likely get a bottle. But
yeah, that works. Nonetheless, let's go through now. Let's call this a wrap. Let everyone see the car before and after, and
check out the next episode of Detail and Bell.
Yes, indeed. Never mind. All right, that's a wrap. Let's go.